Welcome to Ramadan Shir. Here today, tomorrow, Rav David is going to give Shir. We are in Daf Tzad Gimel Amud Aleph, still in the topic of Shnaim Shosu. What happens when two people do Malach on Shabbos? What's the story? When are they potter? When are they chayev? So we are now in the part of the sugya that talks about Messiah. Messiah means the classical shot of Messiah, which all Tanoim agree on, is when there's one person who is able to do the malach on his own, and another person who is unable to do it on his own, but is helping the one who could do it on his own. He's a helper, a Messiah. So Allah says that the one who's Messiah, the one who's actually the main guy, he's chayev. The one who does it and can do it on his own. The one who's helping but cannot do it on his own is Messiah. In that case, everyone agrees. Everyone agrees to that. And we wanted to bring a raya from Zav. A Zav who is supposed, if a Zav is supported by whatever that is, by chairs, by animals, and those chairs or animals are, in their turn, stepping on lower things, on medras, then those things get tumah from the zav, providing that the majority of the weight of the zav is on that. Then it's makabel tumah. And we said if the zav is riding on a horse or standing on a standing horse, sitting on a standing horse, and the horse says it's 4 feet on the ground, then that horse is not metame any of the shmatis underneath the hoofs of the horse. Why? Because we said all of them are Messiah. Each one, because the horse can stand on 3 feet and can hold 1 foot on the ground and still be very stable. It's a very strong animal. Therefore, we say that this is considered to be, all of them are potential Messiah, and that's why he's not Tameh. None of them is Mitame because they're all Messiah, they're not insignificant. And that was a proof to our point that Messiah and Bumamish. On that says Rav Yehuda Midiskarta, let's restart from here. Rav Yehuda Midiskarta wants to basically argue on that. I would really tell you, Messiah Yesh Mamish. What's Messiah? One strong guy, one weak guy. The weak helper is Mamish. And on Shabbos, he would be Chayiv. And by Tuma, he would be Tomeh. The shiny hocha over here by a horse, it's different. By the way, I got better pshat since yesterday. Today, I chopped something. The okrolo legamre, which means a horse, because the horse can stand with 3 feet and 1 foot can be on the air, and it can be exactly the same for the horse. Is as stable, right? So the 3 feet are doing everything, and even when that foot is on the ground, it's not doing anything. What does that mean? So I saw pshat. I have to admit, I looked in the art scroll. Sorry, I usually try not to, but I did. So they made sense. We see that the horse is standing on 4 feet. This is not a walking horse; it's a standing horse, and he's walking on 4 feet. He's standing on all 4 feet, all 4 legs. Yeah, the pshat is even when he's standing, sometimes one of the legs he is really not supporting his weight on it. Right? Sometimes you can stand on 2 feet, but only you know that most of the weight is on 1 foot, not on the other. Like one of them hurts, or stam you're like leaning somewhere. Oh, that's pshat. If you really look very closely, you'd see that one of the hooves, one of the legs, is not really supporting Bichlal. Yeah, that's what they explain it. That's very good. So you look at the horse, you think all 4 feet are doing the job. Really, one of them is doing nothing. Nothing. And because we don't know which one is the one that does the nothing, we have a suffix on each and every foot. Is it doing everything or is it doing nothing? But we don't have the mechanism of Messiah, which one does 80%, one does 20%. It's kilo 3 legs are doing 100%, and the 4th one is doing 0. And why they're all tohar? Because misafek, because I don't know on each and every foot, maybe 100, maybe 0. It's not partial. It's all or nothing. On each and every foot, I have a suffix. That's why I mitar all of them. That's what he wants to claim. So you don't have a proof about Messiah. That's a question. The Kevin the zimnin okroho, the zimnin akroho. Now the Gemara is gonna answer. Is that so? Answers the Gemara, no. Levi kazava mishapech. Basically, as I told you yesterday at the end of Shir, we're going to see now a Mishnah, that shows us just the opposite. If I have a suffix on 4 legs, on 4 whatevers, which one is the Zav's weight sitting on? We won't say misafik it's tohar, we say misafik it is tomeh. Yeah, it's tomeh. Even in Rishus Harabim, when usually Tuma is Torah, here it's Tomeh. Let's see the case. Look at these pencils. Can you see the pencils? Reb David and Akiva. Look at these pencils. Here, I'm sorry, people online. So now, the Kavan Dizimni no Kovzim Kemi Lotnan. Zav, this is a Zav. This is Mr. Zav. Shoyamutal al Chamisha Safsolin or Chamisha Pundois. A Zav is lying on 4 or 5 benches or 5 like cases. Underneath there's the stuff, and he's lying on like a bedding cupboard. So now, Le'okan, what? Yeah. Le'okan Tmeim Le'rochban Tohirim. If he's lying alongside those 4 benches, the same, he's aligned with them. They're all going this direction, and the Zav is also this direction. They're all Tomeh. Why? Because when you go to sleep, you kind of roll. See, sometimes here, sometimes here, sometimes here, sometimes here. Here, 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 here. So they're all Tomeh. They're all Tomeh. L'rochbon Tohirim. Look at that. If it's crisscross, they are all one direction, and he's the other direction. He's crossing them. Then they're all tahor. Why? Because there's not majority on any of them. Part of his stomach is here, part of his lower part is here, part of the chest here. He doesn't have the majority on any of them, so they're all tahor. You only tome if the majority is in one place. Okay. Yoshan, he went to sleep. Sofik misapech alein tmein, which means he went to sleep the good way. He went to sleep crossing like this. So he says, oh, they're all tahor, because none of the mattresses, none of the mitos is really carrying most of my weight. But Lamaisa, when you sleep, you tend to turn around here and there. Maybe you ended up being like this, and now your entire weight is on here or here. That's why they're tame. What do we see? It must be its main. What do you see? That really, in case of Suffolk, I don't know if this mattress, that mattress, this mattress, that mattress, they're all tame, not all tor. So therefore, we rejected Rav Yehuda B'Diskarta. So why is it true in the case of the horse, all 4 feet are not metame, the shmata underneath? Not because we don't know which one's who. It's not an all or nothing. Is this the real culprit or the zero? No, then it'll be tame. The pshat is that even though he can stand on 3 feet, when he's standing on the 4 feet, it's helping. It's helping him. He's more stable when he's on all 4 feet than on 3. Not true what he said. And therefore, since each and every one can be looked at as all 3 feet are telling the 4th one in their turn, we could do without you. Thank you for your 20% help. 25%. 100 divided to 4 is 25, yeah? So that's my genius. Yeah, so there, thank you for your 25% contribution. We could have done without you, Mr. First or second or third or fourth leg. Misayain b'mamish. That's why all 4 are Torah, because all 4 can always be looked at as not misophic. We all define them, each one is that way, as Messiah, and therefore it's en boy mamish, and therefore all 4 are Torah, because the Messiah, which doesn't have significance. You need time to chew on it, but that's what the Gemara says. That's the best I can provide.
It kind of reminds me of what we were talking about yesterday, where 2 people are carrying something together.
Oh,
And so they're popped from this and here because each one's carrying, let's say, part of the load or whatever.
absolutely, absolutely, 100% true. You are a good follower of Rav Yehuda. You saw my chart. You didn't hear my charts today. I said 2 charts. No, yeah, okay. Bekitzer, Rav Yehuda. You said you don't have email. So Rav Yehuda, very good. Rav Yehuda holds when 2 people carry 1 key. So cute and so idiotic. I'm saying you do it on Shabbos because you have no choice. Yeah. So why do 2 people carry 2 keys? In a Karami, I could do without you. I can hold the key on my own. So when you hold the key with me, you are a nothing, and so am I, in respect to you. And therefore, both patur. Exactly. That's exactly Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says Messiah sometimes can be mutual. It's not always the bodybuilder and the weak guy. It's a weak guy and the weak guy holding a key. That each one Messiah to the other. That's exactly what Rashi says. Very good. Now it's going to get easier. We also learned the Mishnah. Now, this Mishnah in a way argues on what we said before, but the concept is the same. Rabbi Yossi Omer, Hasus, listen to some zoology over here, veterinary. Hasus metam el yodov, listen Akiva. Achamoir al raglov. The sus, the horse, the main support of the horse is on his hands, what you call the 4 legs, the front legs. He puts most of his weight there. Right? Sometimes they kick from the back. They stand in the front, yeah? And therefore, when you have 4 shmatas under 4 feet, says Rabbi Yossi, unlike what we said, only the front 2 will be metami, not the back. Because the front 2 are the big guys, are the real holders. It's not evenly divided, the weight. When the Zav is sitting there with his whole 100 kilos, the front legs are the ones carrying more. And therefore, they're metame, what's underneath, not the back ones. HaChamoyer al Raglov. The donkey is metame dafka on the back feet. The donkey is stronger than the back feet. Why? By the way, there's the machloikis. I think there's a gear that says the opposite. Lo mishaneh. Shemishenes asus al yodov. The horse's support is on the front feet, the forelegs. The chamar al raglov. The chamar is on the hind legs. That's all very nice. V'amai. Why are you only talking about the main two, whichever ones they are, and you completely ignore and metaher the other ones? It still helps. You want to tell me horse can stand for too long with 2 feet only? The 2 legs only? No way. Bingo. We see again that according to the mainstream Tanoim, be it Rabbi Yossi, be it whoever, we say that Messiah, the one who's helping, but is not taking the majority of the weight, is Messiah, is only a helper. Ein b'mamish is not considered halachically significant. So on Shabbos is not chayev, and by Tuma is not metame what's underneath. That's what we're saying. We're going to compare it now to Kol HaTorah Kula, all kinds of halachas, not just Shabbos, not just Tuma. I was thinking about it. You can't. You could, but for a very short while. The goal is to stand on the back feet for a short while, right? I hear they can walk also on the 2 feet, on the 2 back feet. I accept your horror. I hear what you're saying. I thought about it. Unfortunately, didn't have time today to look into it. He's asking good. David is asking Lamaisa that it's more than Messiah because you can't stand for too long with 2 feet only. I hear. But Lamaisa, you're right. But in a way, the proof is even stronger. Even a stronger Messiah in Bamamish, let alone a weaker Messiah. The question is true, but Lamaisa, the proof is even better. If a stark Messiah, which is helping 45%, we still ignore, Kolshikin, the Messiah of 20% will ignore. It's even a better proof. You're right, but Adrabah, you're not breaking the proof. The proof is stronger.
You're doing something, but you know,
yes, obviously on halachic, avad, he needs all forfeit avad. Amar Avashi, the second proof. Afanana mitnina. We also learned from the avodah Beis Hamikdash. We all know that the Kohanim, when they do the avodah, it says lamoid, yamoid. It says b'sheres kachol echavaledim ha'oimdim. You're supposed to stand barefoot, and your feet should touch the holy ground of Beis Hamikdash. If you are doing the avodah as a kohen, kabbalah, whatever, halachos, rika, and what are you doing while you're standing on a chair? Possible. Yeah, you're not allowed to do that. Not allowed to do that. So now, Rablezer Oimer, Ragloi achas al kli. Mr. Cohen is in Beis Hamikdash. 1 foot is on a kli, on a stool. V'ragloi achas al ritzpa. Very good. Okay. 1 foot here, the other foot there. Ragloi achas al even. 1 foot on a stone. V'ragloi achas al ritzpa. So what do? Do you judge him? Do you define him as somebody standing on the floor and the avodah is kosher? Or do you say, hey, he has 1 foot, what? 1 foot through the door. He has 1 foot on the stool, on the bench, on the stone. It's possible. How do we judge that? Roin, let's look. Where are we, Rabbi Isai? Tzadi Gimel, Omud Beis, about 10 lines or so from the top. Roin, let's check and see. Kol she'ilu inotel akli, v'tinot 11. What would be if we pull it from below his foot? Let's pull the stool or the even or the stone from under his 1 foot that's standing there. Depends. If he can firmly stand on that foot that is on the floor, that means his main support is on Beis Hamikdash floor, barefoot. That's kosher. If you take away the chair, then he's falling, and then he's unstable. That means his main stability he gets from where? From the stool, from the stone. That means he's not standing on the floor, he's standing on the stool. Where is your stability? That's a shaila. Frag the Gemara sounds very nice, but why is that true? At the end of the day, it's still Messiah, right? It's still a siyua. In other words, even if you can be stable without the chair, of course, the chair, the 1 foot that's on the chair is adding to the stability. It's at least a 20, 30, 40% helper, and yet we ignore it. Which halacha l'maisa that applies every day? We learn from here. Rabbi Isai in Baluch halacha l'maisa every day. When you go to the religious synagogue, very nice. So, so do I. So basically, also in vidui, it says b'shmonesra, you're not allowed to lean on something, or by vidui. So it says, what's Agdoro? You can lean a shtickle on the stender, but if they take away the stender, you'll still be standing, then it's okay. But if they take away the stender, you'll be falling, then it's then it's not called a midah. Nafkamina for when you have to stand during davening. Yeah. I mean, there's no halachic here, ask your rabbi, but this is as far as I know. Omar Ravine and Ravashi, who are the latest people? Omar Ravine, Afanana Mitzvina. Another proof again from the Beis Hamikdash. Kibel beyamin. Which hand should the Kohanim use as they do the avodas Beis Hamikdash? Right, left, center? Right hand. All the avodas of the Kohanim should be done by the right hand, not the left one. Anyhow, lefty. I almost said leftist. I didn't mean that. Lefties, also leftists. Yeah, lefties are possible from avodah, and a right person, meaning a righty, should use his right hand for all the avodas is Beis Hamikdash, shchita, kabbalah, zrika, halacha, everything. Now, kibel biyamin is to be mekabel. The blood is heavy. So it's a kli. The mazrik is a heavy kli. You have a whole few liters of the blood of the bull. You want to hold it only with your right hand. Kibel biyamin, the small mesayasoi. He accepted the blood of the animal with the mazrek, which is laconically shaped, with the right hand, and the left hand is helping a little bit. Yeah. So avodah kshera, as long as the right hand is the main one, right? I mainly hold it with my right hand. I'm a righty, and the left is also helping on the side. The avodah is kshera. Why? I can say about yadodi. Why? The left one, had yadodi means together. It's together helping. So why do you ignore the helper? Must be we ignore the helper is from here. I'm sorry, I apologize. From here we see that Messiah is not mamish. I don't know, so many examples from Kochi and from this. I'm sure there's more along this here. We're not learning beyond, unfortunately. I guess each example shows us something else, but we get a very clear picture that either it's avodas Beis Hamikdash or Tumah V'Tara or Shabbos. When you have a main, your case was also true, but here we're talking about when you have a main koach, main power, main source of stability, and that could have done it on his own, and the other one is helping but couldn't do it on his own, then the one who's chayiv, who's significant, who's tomeh, who's kosher for Beis Hamikdash is the main thing, and the Messiah ain't boy mamish. The little guy on the side, the helper on the side, we say thank you very much, but halachically it's not significant. Omar Mar. Now let's talk about shiurim. Shiur about shiurim. Omar Mar. Yeah. What did Rabbi Meir say? Talk about it. Yofi. Omar. Ze yochol v'ze yochol. Remind me, guys. Ze yochol v'ze yochol. Ma? No? Okay. Interesting. Ze yochol v'ze yochol. What happens if each person can do it on his own? You and I are taking a little cutesy key to where? Outside to the street on Shabbos. What does Rabbi Meir say? Mechayev. A mayor doesn't care about Shnaim Shosu Pturim. They're always chayev. Right? Shnaim Shosu Chayovim. Iboilu, question on Rabbi Meir. Really, the question is not only on Rabbi Meir, but the question is more understandable according to Rabbi Meir. Ba'inan shiur lezeh v'shiur lezeh, odil meshiur echad lekulam. That's a question. Now, as we all know, and we saw about 10 times, I think, the shiur of food is gorgeres. If the standard, except for certain foods, yeah, most yellow cheese, whatever, meat, bread, fruit, it's gorgeres, right? Let's say you and I are taking a gorgeres to the street together. Rabbi Meir says, guys, you're chayv chatos, if not worse, if you're mazid, yeah? But let's say you and I took one gorgeres. I would say, well, if we divide it to you and I only took half a gorgeres. So in order to be mechayev mi Rabbi Meir, you'd really have to say that you and I have to take 2 grogros, or a loaf of bread, or yellow cheese, or steak in the size of at least 2 grogros together, that we can, one piece that is which weighs 2 grogros, and then you can say 1 for me, 1 for you, or maybe not, or maybe shiur echad lekulam, or maybe since we're mechayev them as if they're one person, so the lomdus is you and I are chayev by 1 grogeres. Yeah, 1 grogeres is mechayev both of us. Interesting, because at the end of the day, we're like guf echad. We're one person doing the malacha. No, Rabbi says, I don't care if it's 1 or 2, right? So maybe we're like one guy with 1 grogeres. Maybe Rabbi says, no, you are 2 people, also halachically, and you both separately chayev, so you need 2 grogeres. Yeah, that's a question. So it's a machlokes amaroim. Rav Chisda v'Rav Menuna. Between Rav Chizda and Rav Huna is the machloikas. Chad Omar shiur lezeh v'shiur lezeh. Rav Chizda, one of them says, in order to be chayiv, you need a shear to each one, for each one a grogeres. Only then you chayiv. There's like imaginary, division. One grogeres for me, one for you. Together it weighs two grogeres. The Chad Omar shiur echad lekulan. The other one says no. One grogeres taken by both is chayiv for everyone. Now, Tosfos points out that the same question could also apply to our men, Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda said what? That if you carry a big beam, let's say a beam, a big thing, which each and every one of us could not take on his own, and we took it together, the big table, we are chayiv. Now that question would apply then, but as it says, practically it's not shaykh, because practically when you have a big thing, of course it's shear, two shiurim. However, later on in the Gemara, we'll see a very cool, interesting case in which there is something you'll see later. We'll see later a nafkamina, and then you will say, "Oh wow, you're going to get this aha moment." Which even according to Rabbi Yehuda, there's a shaila, of do you and I need a separate shear for each one or not? Even though we're talking about the big thing, you'll see. Let's continue now to figure it out. Amar Papa Mishmed Rove Af Anan Namitnina. We also learned like one of those opinions. This is the case we saw before, yeah? A Zav is sitting on a bed. The Arba Tuliyos, there are four shmatas, four garments, Tachas Arba Raglamita, under the four legs of the bed. Tmeos, they're all Tome. Remember that we said, we said when no leg can do it on its own, as opposed to the horse, a bed needs desperately all four legs. You want to have a bed with three legs? No, that's a nightmare, right? And therefore, there we say all four of them are tome and mitame because they're all super essential. They're not messiah. Following you, Rav Yehuda would say when both people are essential, none of them is messiah. They're all main. They're all as choshuv. It's all very nice, but v'amai libai shiur ziva lezeh, the shiur ziva lezeh. If you compare the legs of the bed to human beings, the zav is only one zav. If you want to tell me, you and I, only if we both carry together two grois, then we're chayiv, one grogeres per each, and we know that by ziva, what's the rule? Which bed becomes tome from the four beds? Only the one that, with the zav, the main weight of the zav was supported by him. Wait, excuse me, you have one guy on the bed, not four, just one guy, and we're saying that all four bed posts, they all become tome. How come? So you see that the chiyuv, or in this case, the weight of tuma, is shared by everyone and not divided each one. Otherwise, you need four zavim, says Rashi. Rashi says four. Lab mishum damrin and shiur echad lekulan. Here we prove their point, like the second opinion that says shiur echad lekulan, which means, and this is going to be the mahalach till the end, my friends. 90%. Basically, when we carry on Shabbos, or when there is tuma being carried, we say one shear supports all of them. You and I carry together one tiny grogeres, not 1 millimeter more, one grogeres you and I together. So according to Abimeir, we're chayev. It's not halacha, but it says we're chayev, and we share between us the chiyuv of the one grogeres. It's as if we're one person. It doesn't care that we are two. And the same thing by tuma, we see one zav causes four separate tumas because they all hold him. They all share the one tumah of the zav, and their metame what's underneath. Omar of Nachman b'Yitzchak, Afanana mitnina. Let's talk about hunting. You like hunting? Tzvi. A deer shenichnas labais. A deer ran into the house. We had this case, if you remember, Dav Gimel Amud Aleph. A deer ran into a house. V'nol echad befonov. One guy locked the door. So the deer cannot run, or like he bolted the door. The door was open. The deer could have run out, so it's not called trapped halachically. He has an easy way out. Comes Mr. Balabosa, Mr. Whoever, he bolts the door alone. That is an act of tzedek. Chayiv kores, chayiv chatas, chayiv skila, chayiv. No lushnayim pturim. Listen to this. Two people are locking together, and they could have locked it alone. It's a little bolt, like the toilet door. And the deer is trapped. And both you and I took the tiny, cutesy little bolt, and we bolted it together. Who says we are potur? Rabbi Yehuda, of course. This is Rabbi Yehuda. Lo yochol echad linol. If it's a very heavy bolt, very heavy bariach, bolt. None of them could have done it on their own. It's really big and heavy. V'no lushnaim chayavim. This is who's talking now, Rabbi Yehuda. When none of us can do it on our own separately, it's a big bolt. It's a big business there, yeah? Some old ancient house. It was face jail. And what? And they bolted, and now the tzvi is inside. Chayovim. They are both chayav. Wait a second. Here, I told you, here Rabbi Yehuda, even in Rabbi Yehuda, we're going to see the shalos of, do we need two or one? The Amai, how many animals came inside? One. You need two deer inside. If you want to tell me when you and I are doing an act together, we're both chayev, and we need one for me, one for you. We don't share. To hunt half a deer is dead. You know, it's chayev. There's no thing, half a deer who's running. You need two deer, right? Oh, and yet we see that no, we are both chayev because we did something impossible to each one separately. This is Rabbi Yehuda. Although the tachlis, the object is one and one only, and yet we're chayev. Again, we're proving again and again, one shear for all for one and one for all. One shear is enough for all mishtatfim, all participants in the Avera, and they're all chayiv. And that's the Rambam Paskins. Look at the Rambam Perek Aleph Halacha Chestes, something like that. You'll see he says that. Omar Ravina, now Ravina is going to move from the world of Shabbos to the world of theft, crime. Omar Ravina, this is interesting. Afanana mitnina. We also learned in the Mishnah in Bava Kama, Ashutfin shegonvu vetovchu. We all know about that. Somebody stole. Two somebodies are partners in crime. Together they pulled the animal esho or se. These are the two animals where Abba Chamisha applies to, and they stole it from someone's house. And then together they tovchu. They held the knife with Yiras Shamayim, the machmir on the halachas of shchita. And those ganovim, they shechted it together. 1, 2, 3. And they shechted the ox together. How many oxen are the chayiv now to give all the bayis? 5. 5, yeah, 5. 1 plus 4. Right? Tvicho mechira by an ox. If it's a taleh, if it's a sheep, 4. 1 plus 3. Why? We said one ox is mechayiv 4. They don't have a shear. Each one did only half. Why mechayiv each one 4? Must be that again we see the same concept again and again and again. One shear fits all. If you both committed an avera to one object, you each one chayiv separately. You chayiv now, you chayiv skila, lolenu. You chayiv chatas, you chayiv chatas. Even though you did it together with another guy, we allege the action to you only as if the other guy is not there, to each one. Just the opposite of Abuda, yeah? And so too by Tvicha. Now, by Tvicha, I'm not sure if they have to pay each one. I don't think they have to pay each one entire 4. I think they participate in the 4 between them, if I'm not mistaken, but it's still a shverkat. Because, yeah, I could have still said I only did half, right? And I'm not chayiv b'chlal. I didn't shecht. I shechted half a shore I'm not chayiv anything. But they're chayiv 4 or 5. Here's another case which fits well with Rabbi Yehuda. We also learned the kone shel gardi is a big kone. It's a kone which is one of the main. It's a beam. It's a big beam, which is one of the main beams of the loom. A loom is a very big thing nowadays, even more. Yeah, and that big kone is normally held and carried by 2 people. Even according to Rabbi Yehuda, if I can take the gardi means a weaver, by the way. Yeah, the weaver's cane, the weaver's stick. Yeah, can't do it on my own. You can't do it on my own. Can you help me, please? And together we take it out on Shabbos. Chayovin. Yeah, but the shear is just one. Yeah, okay, don't help me on Shabbos. Again, why don't you require shir etzor to each one? And we don't. We say one kone shel gardi supports the chiyuv of both. And they both are chayiv chatas, or even worse. Lab mishum damrin and shir echad lekulam. We see one shir covers them all. Here the Gemara for change argues. Here the Gemara is not going to take it lying down. We're in the first wide line, by the way. That's why. In other words, you're telling me the chayiv of the big kone? Of course. Because really we all know that, but the Beit Zakala, we also saw that like 3 times. Yeah, a regular simple piece of wood, which is not professionally done. Yeah, if I take it out to the street, what can you do with it? Burn it. Use it as a combustible, right? As to feed the fire. What's the minimum thing we want to cook the quickest? A quick chavita, quick egg fry, sunny side up. And the quickest one is beitza. Ah, thank you. You know why the chayv and the big beam and the big beam, sorry, not because the big beam supports both, because I could easily cut that beam to two or even more little konim. Each one, Reuven has in it a kone which is big enough to cook his egg, and Shimon a little kone to cook his egg. And really, maybe the archive by dividing and having each one his own share. Zog the Gemara, no, im ken lishmin and kone de alma. If so, you should have. I hinted to the answer already before. You should have told me about a regular kone, a kone of stam, regular stick. You don't need a machna de gardi. A kone of gardi is very well crafted. My father used to work in this. He had I told you, a weaving factory. Yeah, it's a big umnus. Yeah, so a kone of gardi is something which is professionally done. It's time to throw something into the fire. You know the kone shel gardi. So don't tell me the chayev dafka because they're going to throw it to the fire. They won't. This is something professional, choshev, and expensive. And there's only one professional good one that is carried by both. So you do see the point here that they share, yeah, the one item by both. And the Gemara still insists, the Dilma, the Gemara now gets a shtickle more pilpuldik. The Gemara says, no. You know why the chayev? What's the purpose of the konishal gardi? The konishal gardi, you place it in the loom, and then you go, makes a lot of noise, yeah? And then you weave back and forth, and what do you have? Cloth, fabric. The konishal gardi, interesting, the chiyuv, you take out something, and the importance of that something is, soif masa b'machshava tchila. Why do you weave something? You want clothes. You want kapite, you want pants, you want a kippah, right? You want a mappa, you want a towel. So maybe the reason is really you do need separate items for both, but in that gardi has enough power to weave two separate cloths, one for Reuven and one for Shimon. That's why the chai. Very interesting svara. 1 second. Yeah. Right? Maybe that's why the chai in the corner. Meaning the corner is not it's not ends of its own, it's means to an end. It's there in order to, it's interessant svara. It's there in order to weave other stuff, and that other stuff is big. That can weave a kilometer of fabric. So clearly they can share that, they can divide that. And that's why from here you can't learn anything. We're not ignoring, we're not rejecting the truth that really, as we passed already, we showed many proofs that you do share one share for both. But because here the Gadi's share is translated through weaving, and the weaving can be done separately to each. Yeah, I'll have my cloth, we'll stop, then we'll have your cloth. Mimela, that skill, each one has his own shir shalom. Very interesting svara. Yeah. Rabbeinu, Ken, how can I help you? You good? Continue to the Mishnah? Yes. What? Anitcha. Now let's okay. Tani Tana Kamed Rav Nachman. Yeah, one of the Maroim taught the following brayso to Rav Nachman. Shnaim shotziu konesh shel gardi pturin. Two people carried the heavy konesh shel gardi, the weaver's stick. They're pturin, they're potur. Rab Shimon mechayev. Are you guys happy? I'm not. Who's Tanakama? Rab Shimon. Rab Shimon says a potur. Rab Shimon mechayev. Which Rab Shimon mechayev? Rab Shimon is the king of always potur. Rab Shimon always potur shnam shosu. So klape laya means the other way around. Turn it around. Elaema must be the brayso is wrong. The brayso that was taught by the Talmud of Nachman was mistaken. Chayovin. Tanakama, whose name is Rav Yuda, says Chayovin. Tochken Rabbi Meir. Meir Bechlal, I'm not talking for sure. Yeah, Meir is extreme into Chayovin Shnaim. Yeah. Amen. Rabbi Yuda say they're Chayev. Rab Shimon poiter. Rab Shimon is the one who says potu. Rab Shimon always patas b'shnaim shosu, even when it's a heavy item that cannot be carried by either. I gave you the chart today. The chart, I hope my email works right. The chart, I made a Bochshem, a very comprehensive chart. The four machloikesim all over Maseches Shabbos, throughout Shabbos, there's four machloikesim between Rab Shimon and Rav Yuda. Yeah, and I made you a chart all four topics with the halacha. If you don't get it, let me know. But I'll try and resend it. I did it this afternoon in the bookshop. It's very, very, very short. Like I could have done this like with 100 more details, but Dafka kept it very summarized. But if you read it well, you're gonna get a very, very, very good sequence of a lot of things we've seen so far. I started the Mishnah. Allow me to go into your territory. This Mishnah, by the way, Rabbi, I'm excited. This is the Mishnah that is talking. That's the main Mishnah that talks about Melacha Shatzich Gufa. Whenever you look at Melacha Shatzich Gufa, which appears in other places, many, many places, this is the main source. I might see Oichlin Pachos Mikashiu Bekli. The ratio is not about that. The ratio is not about. Okay, it's not about this. I might see Oichlin Pachos Mikashiu Bekli. A person took, let's say, what's Oichlin Pachos Mikashiu? He took food, whichever food, less than grogeres. You potur afal kli. Even though you took a plastic, look. I took a plastic. This, if I take this to the street, I'm chayiv. It's choshuv. One plastic cup, very, very choshuv, right? But if I took inside the cup, what? Food less than grogeres, and potter also on the cup. Why? Shakli tfeilolo. We saw that in B'meisha. Remember, very good. Because the kli here, what? What's wrong with taking? There's no. He lives in Eretz Yisrael, Tzaddik, America, South Africa. I'm very happy with you. You're welcome to come to Lithuania, where I lived for half a year with no eruv, and you tell me what the problem is. Was the Shigana? Yeah, right. I mean, Shigana, I was when I was there. It was very hard. Yeah, to live without an eruv. You did it right in America. No, you lived always there. Yeah, you did. So I'm saying, without an eruv, oh, it's a problem. From the house to the street. Oh, it's all. Oh, it's so. My daughters would have to get the key, so we did a tachshit for my daughter. But like the key was like a thing for her, and the whole story with it. We didn't have babies then, at least. It was very hard. Yeah, now used to it. The kids are. It's all. There's no eruv. Now listen to the main thing. It's a chai b'mita. Somebody took a live person. Okay, from the house to the street, no eruv. Patul afalamita shamita tfeilaloi. Ooh. Second concept, which tomorrow you're going to learn with Reb David, it's all philosophy. If I take to the street a person who can walk, I'm not talking about other cases, which is also, let's say you schlep a 5 years old kid who can Baruch Hashem walk, and you schlep him, yes, there's a kiddie thing, piggybacking from the house to the street, you're not chayiv. Because he could carry himself, in theory, he could walk down, and he's okay, he's not refusing, he's not asleep. He's just, you're walking with him like a good daddy, bonding time. And you take him to the street like that, because he can walk on his own, he's a self-reliant body. Even if you carried him to the street, you're potter. That's what we say. Let's say you carried him in the bed, and he could walk, but you carry him in the bed, like in a baby's buggy, you potter also on the bed, just like the plastic cup. Because the bed is tfeilaloi, because the bed is secondary to the person, you also potter on the bed. Now, here comes the main business. Esameis b'mita chayev. Oh, you took a dead person out to the street in the bed, just like you chayev on taking out the dead person from your house to the street, because you want to get rid of the dead person. Dead person in the house, it's metame and not so nice and aesthetic, and the kids are going to be traumatized. So if you take them out to the street, you chayiv. Yeah, you're all happy. Yeah, that's all. Everyone agrees to that. Who's talking here? Who's talking here? Before the meetup, I said it about. Who's saying is chayiv? Abuda, of course. You chayiv on the bed too. Kazais min ameis, kazais min anavela, kadosh on Hashem it's chayiv. The kids are all the shurim that are metame, zais from ameis, zais navela, adosh, a tiny bit of sheretz, whichever shir you want to get rid of, which is metame, and the tummy you want to stay away from. You're getting rid of it by throwing it to the street. Get rid of it, darling, right away. And you're a good husband, and you take it from the house to the street. Obviously, this is the voice of Abuda. Melocha sheni tzricha legufa, classical and tzricha legufa. I'm not gaining anything. I wish the whole thing wouldn't be here. I'm not displaying the mace in the street. I'm getting rid of the mace's presence in my house. That is melocha tzricha legufa. Rabbi Shimon Paiter, Mazel Tov. Rabbi Shimon says patu. That's zi mechlokas b'chol hashas b'chol Shabbos kuloi. Rabbi Nas mechayv and melocha tzricha legufa. Rabbi Shimon Paiter. And halacha is like Reb Shimon. Only the Rambam is nice to Reb Yehuda. Rambam Paschal is like Reb Yehuda. Everybody else Paschal is like Reb Shimon. Tzlocho v'ocho. Tomorrow, upgraded shield of David. Rav David will be here tomorrow. Atzlocho bracha. Thank you very much. Really, shkoich. I really appreciate it. Come tomorrow to listen to Rav David. Thank you very much. No shir tomorrow online. You just do chazon on the other shir. We can watch Mashir on Makos.